Well, welcome back to the Berlin Major. We're about to get underway with game number 4 of the day. It's Gaimin Gladiators coming up against Oxygen. If you missed our last game, GG lost out to W7M. W7M now, Tim. 15 points, 5 straight wins in regulation. Gaimin Gladiators now do not have a way of being able to get through to the playoffs. But for Oxygen, the dream is still alive, Tim. They've got 3 points. Wolves are above them in 7. So getting 3 points from this game is absolutely crucial if they want to be able to make it through to Friday's playoffs.
Absolutely. Like you say, they can't do it if they don't get the win here. There's going to be too many points. There's 4 is the gap at the minute, so they have to close that, and then they have to rely on W7M. But it is still possible for OXG to go to the playoffs. However, Gaimin Gladiator, they've just lost their spot. They're done. They've fallen off the cliff face, Des. The question is, are they going to grab a hold of OXG as they go and just take them with them? You know,
drag them down,
just drag them down with them. Because Gaimin Gladiators didn't look bad against W7M. There was a couple of mistakes on the attack, but they look capable. If they come in here and get a result against OXG, poof, they spoil their pie.
Against the shaky OXG as well, who haven't really been themselves. Let's take a look at our pick and ban, though, because I hear the players are ready to go, so we can get into this one nice and quick. It's going to be Clubhouse, Clubhouse here, Tim. Now, in terms of how that shapes up for these two teams, a bit of structure, I think is going to play into Gaimin's favour.
I think it's going to help them. I think I would have said the same thing had this been Oregon or Clubhouse. It's a default map. Yeah. Everybody's got to be able to play it. If you can't play these, you ain't get into international tournaments. So for me, yep, it suits Gaimin Gladiators, but equally, that point works both ways. You know, it's much like those famous angles. It works both ways. OXG, they are going to come in here. They're going to be solid. They're going to be prepared. They're going to know what they're doing. It's Clubhouse. Like, they've got to be able to come in and put a good performance down. So for me, I still edge it for OXG because they got more to fight for, but every game is, you know, an opportunity to spoil somebody else's party, so why not go for it?
Tim, what do birds do?
Fly.
Production. That's so smooth. Smooth. I love it. Clubhouse, here we go. Let's see who can walk away with the lion's share of the points here. Oxygen, again, are in with a chance of keeping themselves in the conversation for playoffs. If Gaimin Gladiators can settle into Clubhouse, though, they can rip that chance away from the NA team. And NA's woes only deepen here in Berlin, Tim.
Exactly that. I mean, at the minute, let's speculate. This is not what's happening for anybody tuning in. This is not what is happening just yet, but it is a big possibility that at the end of today, when we have our confirmed 8 teams, Des, we could have potentially 3 from LATAM, a hugely unexpected 3 from EU, 1 NA and 1 APAC. That's how we could be looking at the end of the day.
How fun.
There is the chance that that might change. OXG could knock Wolves out, for example. So if Rogue go through, we could have 2 EU, 2 NA, 1 APAC, 3 LATAM. There is a world where there could be 4 LATAM. We could have NIP go through, Rogue don't make it. The EU gloating stops right there.
Have already made it. W7M have made it. Furia have
already made it. So we could have all 4 LATAM. But, EU, there's been a little bit of gloating from us. We've done better than expected so far at this tournament. We could have 3. We could end up with 1.
I mean, could we end up with 0? No, but the sandbox result earlier, I'm pretty sure G2
pretty much
guaranteed
they're
it.
pretty
It's mad to think that it's G2 that are already guaranteed.
Can you imagine if G2 are the only one that go through from EU? EU's sole hope, at that point, they're pretty much destined to win it. Anyway, we've got a game on here. We've got Gaimin Gladiators versus Oxygen on Clubhouse. We've had our bans, Knock, Thatcher, Mira, Kaid. Nothing unexpected there, really. The knock ban rate has gone through the roof, to be fair. We've been seeing more of it in the stage play, but it's gone through the roof here in Berlin. Going to be going again. No surprise. Nades, decent gun, great ability. Just an absolute nuisance. So off the map she goes. Like I say, Kaid for the Hatchers. Obviously, you know, it makes it so that they can't be defended too easily now. Yeah, exactly that. You don't want a Thatcher ban and not a Kaid ban, because then it gets very difficult to start opening up those Hatchers. You got to rely on the Maverick. Mirror is Mirror. Always very powerful.
Mirror on the wall.
Who's the toughest of them all? Not her, because she's banned.
Brilliant. Really bad comedy skit line that is, I'm sure. Gaimin Gladiators start out on the defensive side. We are in the basement, as you guys may well have clocked. And just like in their last game, the Valkyrie is left open. They did play this in a good few of their rounds against W7M on Chalet. Not at all surprised to see them also bringing it along here on their defenses of Clubhouse. Alongside that, you're looking towards things like the Malusi with the bulletproof cam for a little bit of extra information around the map. And one thing I'm quite excited to see is the Thunderbird team. And I say excited like it's going to be some big grand revelation. No. But these days what we're seeing, and a few people have been speaking about it in the scene, Finka keeps on juicing attackers attackers up. Defenders take a lot of chip damage and get slowly worn down. With the Thunderbird, at least you can heal that back up. Thing is, she can't revive a dead man. In this case, Ape down and out already on the Valkyrie. Good early clear by Oxygen.
Yeah, that's a good start for them. Vertical managing to get that opening kill. It's something that W7M did very well against Gaimin Gladiators in the last game. And I think if OXG can take a leaf out of their book and start winning and continue winning those entry battles, it's going to give them a really good advantage in this game, because it is something that Gaimin Gladiators struggled to fight back from. 10-2 it was overall for W7M, and they were able to win a majority of those rounds. So, OXG, good start.
Absolutely. It's now about finding on the rest, though, because it's all good getting the entry, but you've got to start turning that into a win. And there were a couple of rounds for both W7M and GG in the last game that it came down to having the opening kill, even the opening 2, yet still the round would be lost. So I want to make sure that we see Oxygen building on that small advantage they've got. Here's Hoban working his way up, who I think may well have escaped a drone on his way up through Lounge. Could do some damage here onto Fox Aves inside the blue, and Nua's also waiting. Oh, but Hoban misses his chance. That could have been a massive first kill.
Hoban needs to get down these stairs into Oil Pit, or he's going to find himself dead more than likely here. A double challenge. How does he do it? He manages to take Nua's down a dream. It's just a little bit too late. And Hoban, he's the one dreaming as he managed to get an unexpected kill up in the garage, leaving us now 4 versus 3. If he could have escaped with his life there, what a snatch and grab that would have been. But OXG, they're alive, they're alert, and they were ready for the trade, and they still have the advantage. 1 minute left to go, and still quite a bit of work to do here on the actual site itself to get ready for an execute.
Pinching in from 3 directions there as well, right? Garage,
like
door,
that.
You had the wall coming into garage as well, you had Lounge, everything just working against Hoban there. He was screwed no matter which way you look at it, but good that at least he got something out on the exit after whiffing the first couple of shots, and a great operator to bring down. OXG putting a lot of focus here onto Kitchen, making sure they now got those 2 samples coming through to open up that hatch, and it's going to force Gaimin to start working themselves away from that location. You saw the nades come raining in. I spoke about that chip damage. Rix running over 2 of those the Kona stations as well, getting himself healed back up.
Rix is going to be onto his 3rd life if he carries on like that. He's taken he's avoided gunfire, he's avoided grenades, he's got himself juiced back up, and he's back in the fight and ready to go. And there comes the kill. The importance of the Thunderbird really being seen there as he manages to take down Dream. Joe manages to get vertical, and this OXG attack, it starts to fall apart, but maybe not. 4 seconds left to go, 1v1. I don't think Fox can find his man. It's Rix. Rix manages to survive with all that extra juice coming in from the salvation stations, and manages to secure the first round for Gaimin Gladiators.
So ridiculously close there as well. Wow. For a moment, I really thought they'd be losing that one out, but no, just about holding on. Rix, we spoke about being healed up. We didn't see him taken down to about 5 HP to evidence that those Thunderbirds won the round for them, but that's where you're seeing the value shine. I'm almost sad to see it not being brought here in this next defensive lineup. Gym and bedroom we go into, in what is becoming, not that it ever wasn't a popular site, Tim, but it was always kind of the 3rd choice site. You'd see the basement, you see Cash CC, and then you see Gym and bedroom as 3rd in the rotation. Some teams are even now starting them out with Gym and bedroom as their first site, and here, obviously, you're seeing Gaimin playing it as their second.
What a great example of the value of Thunderbird there. Rick's obviously not finishing the round on full health, telling us that they were the difference in that case that enabled him to keep fighting into those final seconds. Foxy unlucky as well not to manage to just get that angle. He was doing everything he could, clambering up onto Vox, just trying to get some height, trying to get anything he could just to get a peep of the last man, but it just wasn't going to happen. Round 2 then, we head up. GG continue their defence in gym and bedroom. It looks like CCTV and Cash is going to be their 3rd choice this time around. Ape, he's looking for a peek here, Des. Gaimin Gladiators are throwing caution to the wind, and they can. They don't have much to play for. They can just get risky. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be looking in this direction. There you go, Ape. He manages to get himself a freebie. And OXG, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. If you want to go through here, you got to be doing the basics like checking blue window.
And normally that's why you have drones positioned outside around the building at the start of the round as well. Not quite sure what the game plan was for Oxygen there. I know they have most in back pocket, to be fair. Only 1 or 2 out in the field, as we've seen. The second one only really being thrown down by Nuas just a second ago. So one of those you're looking at and thinking, all right, boys, it's good being able to recover the drones and use them again inside the building, but you need that early round protection to get you safely to the building first.
Hoven going to be playing up in the kitchen at the minute, opens the hatch to give himself the rotation out of there. So this is something that we saw from Hoven in round 1. Round 2, he's bringing it again, just trying to be slippery, getting in and around the map. Nuez is currently playing inside a bar, and he's going to need to be careful. The reason that he's in there is because he's got the nades. He's looking to get kills through that destructible floor into sight, but he could find himself getting challenged by Hoven potentially, although I think Hoven, nope, he's actually back up on the top floor. Tolji, however, is not.
Still holding down Nuez, almost being sprayed through the soft wall as well. They had the right idea and knew where he was, but this is Finka. She'll juice herself back up. It's no big concern. Great nade from below. Should have caught out Ape there, but slightly off towards the left. Doesn't quite finish him off.
Just not cooking that one quite long enough. It's one of the questions that often gets asked. Hoven manages to get a kill onto vertical there. One of the questions that often gets asked is how long do you cook those nades for on the vertical? And Last Fire, one of the people in the community, he put it a great way. You hold it until you're scared of it, and then you let go. Just not quite scared of it enough there, Nuez, unfortunately. And Gaimin Gladiators giving him something to be scared of. Des, that's going to be a flawless round, and it's 2-0. OXG, if you want to go through to the playoffs and not go home on Thursday, you better be waking up soon.
I'm really curious about what's going on with OXG. I mean, look, I'll just say it now. There have been rumours that after this event, Laxin is stepping down. That's what we've heard, what we've maybe seen on Twitter. It doesn't guarantee it's going to happen, but if that is true, you may well find the rest of the team here are kind of in a, well, there are changes coming. They're not quite as driven to succeed as maybe they would have been previously. Because OXG, for me, have been a team that have consistently been around the top 4 conversation. Have always been putting up numbers, always had good, strong performances. I once called them the most European North American team that exists because they were very fluid, very flexible, very aggressive in their play style, whereas a lot of other NA teams for a long time were playing things very, dare I say, normally in a way. And here, we'll see how things shape up. It is going to be bar and stage coming through. I've just realised the pattern that come on those castle. I've never seen them before. The textures on the castle barricades, Tim. It's an elite one, apparently.
Okay. We will move then. We move. We'll skirt past that one. We will continue on. It's quite clearly there. So, doing my best. We're going to be down in Church and Arsenal. Sorry, no, we're in the bar. Bar and stage for this one. I've written down the wrong thing. I will adjust that. We're going to be holding on to top floor. I'm going to be focused back in now. You threw me for a curveball there.
It threw me as well. I was like, texture bug, question mark?
We're going to be heading down onto to bar and stage. It's an unusual one. So Gaimin Gladiators, they're going to be wanting to hold on to the top floor, construction particularly. And that is, at the minute, the focus. They've got Tolji out on the... OXG, what are you doing?
The early round has just been scary.
You can't just run past garage door. You know that they're going to be defending up on the top floor.
And grenades
you can't expose yourself like that.
Tolji chucking out a C4, not finding the man, but they've committed so many nades up here as well, and Tolji's not done. And he steps back down and goes to the next gunpoint. That's the 3rd nade now sent skywards. They've committed basically all the utility here to make sure he goes down. And I like in a way that OXG have said, look, we don't want to bring Nomad, but we will have 4 claymores in back pocket. We want to make sure we can play windows. We want to make sure there are no runouts coming against us. So far, none of those have been placed down. They've got no flashes to burn through what would have been Jaeger and Wamais, for example. Thank God there aren't any being brought along. But it's been a really scrappy start for OXG. Fortunate to get the kill. Told you doing a good job of wasting some time, in my opinion.
Certainly. You're wasting time and utility.
Loads of it.
Fox is going to be pushing up the red stairs behind that Ussa shield, but there's still work to be done here at the halfway mark. They've not got themselves into construction yet, and Hoven looks like he's going absolutely nowhere for the time being. Joey's just trying to support as well, as he's looking to fire through from logistics potentially, and that leaves us in a 4 versus 5. But if Gaimin Gladiators can nick a kill or 2 here, they might just be able to keep themselves active up on the top floor, because at that point you've got Nuez and Dream pushing. If they lose the support that they need to continue going in there, this could be dangerous for OXG. They have to find these kills.
Oh, Hoven's trying to get himself in and keep things busy around here. He's got the right idea as well. Swings onto Nuez for free. No flank watch coming through. No drone watch coming in. Hoven finding the Dream Man as well. Nuez, who I've referenced before, who seems a bit off kilter today. 0-3 in these first few rounds.
Certainly not ideal. Like I say, losing a man up on the top level was always going to be a problem, because what it's doing is forcing OXG to just push directly towards site. As you can see, Dream is down there now. They don't have control of construction, and if they're going to try to plant on the stage, that's going to be a problem, because Gaimin Gladiators can just hold it down from the hatch. They're going in behind the Ossa shield. They've still got somebody trying to play in and around Cash, but as you say, Ape's on the flank, and this could be huge in the last 20 seconds.
Do they even know? You got Vert sat watching drones at this point as well. He's got to make a call. If they miss this one, and there's no one there to make it. He nearly finds a second, but Dream gets the response. Is charging forward to try and make this plant work, but there's still evil eyes around. OXG only finishing off half a job here. It feels like they could pull them out to bite them as Hoven gets above. Finds one on the vertical, finds a second. GG take round 3.
Great play from Ape there. Unfortunate not to get himself 2 kills, but ultimately it comes down to that top floor that I spoke about. Hoven playing in construction, never moved, managed to get himself a kill. Never taken away from top floor. The fact that OXG felt that they could just dip themselves away, push into stage, and just leave somebody in CCTV to maybe, I don't know, do what? Prevent a threat from above. It didn't secure the angles that they needed, and Hoven able to get himself a very important kill, very important pressure from above, and win the round out for Gaimin Gladiators. What a round from them. Loving this defense so far. And as I said, I had a feeling they'd be coming in here looking to spoil a party, and well, it looks like they might just. 3-0 it starts off on defense.
Walls have got to be licking their lips right now watching this game too. It takes all the pressure away from you to have to perform across your next 2 games if you see an Oxygen down this bad right now. The one thing I got to see from Oxygen after this little conversation is getting the basics right. You know, the drone work has been, frankly, awful. They've been flanked twice in one round where Hoven's come through construction, got a freebie onto Nuers. Then they've been hit behind, again, from Blue, this time by Ape, who got a kill onto Foxer, I think it was. Thankfully, Dream got a response back, but then when they do move through in towards site, having dealt with the craziness of the roams and the flanks and all the rest of it, they realise there's critical utility still up that can stop them getting off the plant. And Hoven's still upstairs, by the way, getting a 2K from above after opening up the floor. Oxygen is forgetting all the basics here, trying to take the minimal amount of ground possible and thinking it's enough. It's absolutely not. There was no control of gym and bedroom, for example, and that's why Hoven was so free to do whatever he wanted all round long.
Church and Arsenal we go back to again in round number 4 then. What happened last time, you asked? Well, OXG managed to get themselves a good entry kill. They cleared out the top 2 floors. They worked pretty well going through there, getting control.
That's unreal. It's on the other side of the ladder, so it couldn't catch him. That's unbelievable.
Just get spotted out. But as you say, it couldn't be captured.
Yeah, because the pests are just like that. It's just pure.
And then couldn't grab it back.
Unlucky.
But there we go. As we can see, Foxy paying a bit more attention to the blue window this time after losing his life to Ape there previously. But as I say, OXG very good on the roam clearance to top floor last time. Got the kill, got in there, got it done. They were a little bit lackluster on the flank watch. Hoven was able to get himself back into garage. It was a little bit of lucky timing. He managed to slip in between 2 drones being in there and just managed to hit them from the back, and that really caused a lot of confusion. Ape is going to take a lot of damage there inside of sight, and once again OXG is starting this attack out well. It came down to a 1v1 last time around. Rix did a great job down in the basement. OXG just need to make sure they've got a bit more time this time around. Foxy didn't have enough seconds on the clock to be able to chase the last man down.
Also clocked onto the damage being done by the Valkyrie cameras, the information that it's been feeding around. Now IQ going to help out here with Laxi being able to hunt those down and take them out. A few have already been pinged through as well. So at the very least, you should see Oxygen aware of where they are. It doesn't mean they can get rid of them, but at least they know where they are when the push does come through.
Tolji and Joe going to be forced back down to site for the time being. So at the halfway mark, that is pretty much the map locked down for OXG now, so they can start thinking about hatches, start thinking about vertical. So I said time was going to be a big win factor for them here compared to last time. Foxer just spotting out a Valkyrie cam there, just denying that information. I love this angle from Laxing. It's one I've spoken about before. You hold it all the way down onto the main stairs, and that to me is fantastic because it shows, again, there was 2 things that I picked up on. More attention to the flanks, more attention to the clock. They've done one, and they're starting to open up and doing work onto site. This is going well so far in terms of time, and then the other was watching the flanks, and that's exactly what Laxing's doing, preventing that push-up main stairs to challenge onto kitchen corridor and to make their lives a nightmare there. So OXG can play with confidence at this point. They just need to make sure that they keep themselves moving.
They're so keen to hunt this down as well. If it isn't the Maestro, it's the Mute stepping back across, just wanting to try and find these players upstairs. Vert actually taking a bit of chip damage there as well, but Dream finds the angle in response. Down goes the Maestro. Tolji still alive though, and has also rotated himself completely away. Here comes the 3rd player in the round to try and challenge these angles. This time round, it's Ape, and he gets the kill onto Vert.
Beautiful play from him. Neuer's looking to push himself down into blue tunnel. Needs to just try and find he's got a bit of an idea that there's somebody through the soft wall here, and it's easy for us with the silhouettes. If he takes a spray through, he might just get a little bit of joy. Foxair aware, and I'm sure the call will come out. Foxair doing damage, but Neuers is actually going to get taken down by Tolji. That's a big kill. The Mozzie's able to escape to blue. 3v3 as Dreamtime Zappy, and drops himself into sight now. He's able to start thinking about a potential plant. He is going to go for it. Foxair on the cover, taken down though. This could be dangerous. Gaimin Gladiators 2v2. Plant is stuck. 2v1. 1v1 again on Church and Arsenal.
At this point, Tolji's got to go and push him as well. He's going to have to come up main stairs, and I feel like Laxin knows about this too. They've got claymores, they've got drones, they've got everything. Does Laxin hold the angle? Does he want this fight, or does he just run? I think at this point he wants to hold it. There's another claymore present as well. Does Tolji know? Yes, he does. Looks one way, sees Laxin, but Laxin hits the shot. OXG finally on the board.
Much better. Well, I won't say much better, but at least better in terms of the outcome for OXG. Like I said, they had half of the round there, and they were still a little bit late pushing into sight. Maybe didn't quite take their opportunities to pick up kills, and just there was far too much challenge coming in from underneath. Gaimin Gladiators really did make their lives a misery inside a kitchen, made it very, very difficult for them, and something that OXG need to really plan to deal with. Maybe getting somebody down to the bottom of Church Wall, for example. If you've got Mortar hatch open, nobody should be able to push into Mortar at that point. Get somebody down alongside that triple wall where Church is. You can play through the soft wall, you can spray down, you can prevent a lot of action underneath that kitchen hatch. So OXG maybe just needing to find a solution to that. But either way, they got the round. It's 1-3 and they get rolling. That is
a rehost.
A rehost. Initially, I was going to say unfortunate.
Hogan's just having fun. I mean, it is unfortunate, but not for the reason that you originally thought.
So we'll get everybody out. We'll get everybody back in as soon as we can do. So yes, OXG, fourth round, take their first attack. On Clubhouse, I think at this point, if they can come away with a 3-3, I don't think they'll mind that too much. They'll be happy enough going in on the defence. They'll be confident, I'm sure, that they can lock down 2 of the sites, which would give them, on 2 rotations, 4 rounds, which would be what they would need to win potentially. But Gaimin Gladiators is going to have something to say about that, because you can see the problem is Gaimin Gladiators, they're done. You know, they're out of the tournament now. It's all jokes, it's all laughing around the team, and when teams just play for fun, that is when they can get really dangerous.
We've seen it several times, right? I mean,
we have.
Equally a danger to themselves. I think many of us will probably recall G2 yesterday with Doki picking Clash, the 5v1 that was almost thrown away by G2, all these little wild moments like that. So there's an element of also let's not keep on, you know, trolling our way through. But I wouldn't go as far as saying Gaimin are doing that. They are just playing with confidence, right? The spawn peaks they're going for, the crazy rotations that many wouldn't. In that last round, I shouted it out partway through. 3 players stepped back across under the kitchen hatch to challenging towards kitchen. Normally, once you lose control of kitchen vertical because others are above you, because they're starting to get the hatch open, you back away towards mannequins, you rotate back through towards Church and watch the angle from a distance. But one player would back out, another one would take his place. He then backs away, another one takes his place. And they keep on going through that same rotation until Ape eventually does find a kill and give GG a bit of hope in that round. However, OXG, as we saw, laxing in the 1v1, bringing out the big clutch.
That's it. You know, it's not often that you'll see teams with that sort of lack of caution underneath kitchen. But as we've said, the danger here is that Gaimin Gladiators don't really have anything to play for or anything to lose. So they're quite happy to take those risks. OXG, just as a reminder for you, they really need the 3 points here. They are 4 points behind Wolves as it stands at the minute. And they have 2 games, including this one. So they have a potential of 6 points in total. But one of those games is against Wolves later on. Wolves also due to play W7M. But if OXG don't win here, don't get any points, they need overtime as a minimum. But even then, they're reliant on other results. So if they don't get a win, they stay 4 points behind. If they get a regulation loss, they stay 4 points behind Wolves, which would mean obviously even a direct win against Wolves would not be enough to overtake them. So that would be it, done and over. If OXG take us to overtime, for example, they will claw themselves back a couple of points, and then it'll all be down to that last game, and a little bit down to the W7M result, which it is anyway. If Wolves manage to get a win against W7M, it will take them too far away from OXG, so that will be job done. But as we know, given that W7M are currently 5-0, that is no mean feat. It's not going to be easy for Wolves. So OXG definitely. The thing is, if OXG get the result here as well, that W7M game becomes even harder for Wolves, because you start looking at a situation whereby you've got OXG breathing down your neck as well.
Absolutely. Now, the Azami being brought along here by Joe. I think sort of once earlier on in this game as well. I was going to say, employing this out towards the hole where we had the players playing previously, there's a catwalk war that took place where Oxygen were dying to get control of it. I feel the Azami can really help with that. As we've seen several teams use her, she can block up the gaps in the railings that sit between the catwalk areas, give a little bit of security over towards the player that's sat inside of there. Tolji, who doesn't yet have that support. So whether Joe has changed track midway through and has now gone back towards site, which he has, I thought maybe we'd see 1 or 2 committed towards the roam out there, but no, they're going to leave him high and dry alone on catwalk. So poor Tolji, if he gets pushed, won't be long for this world.
Vertical going to open the logistics hatch, looking to get himself at least a little bit of pressure. We see Hoven moving away, so that is exactly the outcome that they wanted, really. Told you, as you say, last time was able to hold on to this catwalk pretty well. OXG just needing to have a bit better focus this time. We saw, hit points being given away as Nuas ran across the door. Just, it's small things, and it might sound really critical of me, but at this level of play, it's those things that add up, that cost you rounds ultimately. And so that's what OXG just need to make sure that they are avoiding. For the time being, Tolji remains in place at the halfway mark. Not a lot of pressure coming onto him. All they've got is Laxing on the breach. It just looks like they're not really too interested this time, OXG, in taking over that side of the map.
At the end of the day, if he stays there, it's no real bother to OXG. They can just have Laxing sat on the rappel out on his balcony and then watch. Told you was looking for get a bit cheeky there. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. And Laxing knows it might have been coming as well. But that means there are 2 players committed on this east side of the map. The rest of Oxygen could say, right, let's go for it. Let's just hit site now whilst we're in a 4 versus 3. So Laxing is drawing the attention of 2 of these defenders. That's exactly what you want. At least for now, OXG still trying to find a way through the bathroom wall.
It makes the first couple of kills on site particularly important. There you go. Effectively 4v2 on site, 5v4 in the round. Vertical, he's looking for more. Foxy manages to find up here. Vertical sees the man in the bathroom. This is too easy for OXG. This is better, Des. Where have they been in the first 3 rounds? Told you manages to find Vertical, but cut down by Foxy in a trade. OXG, much better attack. Masterclass of Gym and Bedroom.
Well, just like we said, Tim, there's 2 players playing off site on the defensive side. You know you've got the numbers advantage on site itself. You realise things are being held up a little bit. Those 2 defenders might rotate back if you take too much time. Forget the bathroom wall. Just drone in, spot out a couple of players, and go for it. And that's exactly what Vert did. I don't think a single member outside of the one in construction there from the Gladiators actually knew that he was coming, because outside of that, it was a freebie. 2 of them, in fact, in the round. So really good decision-making on Oxygen's side, identifying a gap and exploiting it entirely.
Yeah, it was miles better from OXG. Absolutely love that round. That's one that I'll be watching back afterwards. Like you say, and this is why I gave the different count as they were going in, because the focus there was the 4v3 on site. So like you say, as soon as Vertical gets that kill, it's 4v2. You can't have told you. It's going to take him a while to move back because of Laxing. It just left them in a really tough situation. Well played from OXG. And what I like there, Des, is OXG, for me, there have taken a breath. They've taken a backward step and they've said, are we just overcomplicating this? Are we just banging our heads against a wall that we don't need to bang our heads against? You know, let's just go to the other wall. Let's just go over there. You know, we don't need to keep trying to crack this nut. Let's not give them what they're asking for. Let's not play into them. And that was much better from them. So we're going to see the site move on. It's going to be back down to Church and Arsenal this time for Gaimin Gladiators. And once again, OXG managed to get the win there in the last round. They're going to be pretty confident, I think. 2v3 on the scoreboard. And a good start. Much better. Vertical getting in there, quickly tracking down Hoven, getting him cut out of things. There's Joe left to go, but this is rapid from OXG.
Vert straight back outside as well to get back on the ground. He's like a good boy as well, rather than trying to press it and looking for his second, his third, his fourth. Just takes time to play back behind the team, because again, when you get that entry kill, you're in a 5 versus 4. The other team have lost 20% of their gun power. You have a lot of capability then just to say, right boys, numbers advantage, sit and play for trades, and there's literally no way we can lose this round. So I think it's good that they now reconvened a little bit here. Gaming might be a little more drawn back towards site rather than trying to play too aggressively out on the roam, as Nuas steps up into a second here on the top floor.
Just going to continue that push across the top floor now with Joe gone as well. That is pretty much the map cleared out. OXG are going to realise that very quickly as the drones continue to race around, so they're going to once again have plenty of time. But will they pick up on Ape? They have fallen foul of these flanks a couple of times, with Gaimin Gladiators being able to just slide in between those drones. I'm not sure that Dream was aware that Ape was upstairs there. Nope, Nuas, he goes blind into that fight, loses his life. Rick's takes Laxing down on the ground floor, in the basement, sorry, and that is now a great passage of 10 seconds for Gaimin Gladiators. Another flank hitting OxG.
2 big kills. Yeah, they're now starting to kind of brace down for any potential additional flanks that are coming in. Dream chucking down that Claymore onto the oil ladder, just in case someone does try and work their way through. Vert's got himself inside the dirt here as well, sitting outside on drone for much of the round. He's now trying to find a way to get that second angle coming in for the team. Because by the looks of it, it's setting up to be Kitchen. But look, Ape has got himself above, and now once again can look to challenge here inside of Kitchen. That means Oxygen have got to retake this top floor ground, and they've let him get up there without any kind of shots coming his way, any kind of disruption. Admittedly, clearing Nuas has really helped on that thing. But here comes Oxygen again. Let's hit the site if they're not here.
This is it. It's just, you know, counter-strat after counter-strat inside of these rounds, but it's just not working for OXG this time. As Vertical gets taken down by Rix, but then Foxy and Dream managing to get a couple of quick kills in succession, and that leaves us now in a 1v2. It's all up to Tolji. The diffuser was going down for a second, but Dream's going to pull off and focus instead on this fight. It's 1v1 as Tolji manages to get the kill onto Foxy. Dream's going to stick this. He knows he's got the cover, but Tolji knows where he is. Surely it's the win. He takes the battle, but doesn't quite find the shots. It's now all up to this duel across Arsenal. Dream managing to land damage. They're both low health. They're both playing this tentatively.
Trying to see what he can find here. Pistol in hand as well. Coming it out. It's coming down to bare basics here, Tim. Can you hit your shots? Yes or no? It's told you to hit it first. Finishes it off with a headshot. Gaimin Gladiators will take it 4-2.
A little bit of passion there. As told you can just see those heated moments. 1v1, ring around the roses, bouncing back and forward. Manages to get that kill, and that's going to mean a lot. Smiles all round for Gaimin Gladiators, and what a round it was for them to pick up. That gives them the 4-2 half that, to be honest, I feel like they deserve their Des. They've played well. OXG, next time that you're on attack, please watch the flanks. They've been hit a couple of times. They've had Hoven, they've had Ape, both able to just slip through the net and do them critical damage. The only reason that they rushed in through dirt then was because Ape was above in logistics, and they had absolutely no time to go and clear him.
And the 2 attacks they won, let's not forget, came down to a 1v1 from Laxing, and the other one, I'll give him full credit, was a really good identification of there's a gap in this defense, let's go and hit site. So that's the only time they've looked convincing in that first half, but hopefully going on to defense where things are less reliant on the sort of timing as a team. It's more about you as individuals out and about around the map looking to get on the road. Hopefully here we can see the gunplay start to shine, especially from players like Nuas, who, as I said, have been really quiet so far today. And I think maybe some of that comes down to motivation as well, where I think he was the, do I want to say the highest rated player across every region coming into this tournament? Was that was KZ actually, I think it was. But Nuas has been up there in a couple of the stats in the top 5 around the entire world in stage 2. And to quote a tweet he once said, he achieved that not in the Farmers League. So for in his view, he should be one of the top performers that we have here at the Major. In this game so far, like we've kind of seen out of Spoit from Rogue, to be fair, just not quite delivering the goods today. All yesterday, really.
This is it, though, when you function at that high level, and that's what separates great players from what I would call exceptional players. And that is, it's all well and good functioning at that high level for most of the time. The question is, can you do it all of the time? And that's what differentiates the top 1 or 2 when we start talking about absolute best in the world. And as you say, maybe a little bit of growth to be found. Ape is going to be taken down by Vertical, and that is a good end trait for OXG. They're just taking the fight back to Gaimin Gladiators now. They're down in the basement, but the big difference here, Laxing managing to find Hoven, Nuas onto Rix as well. This is way better from OXG. OXG on the attack were able to go in and clear that top floor out very well, and by contrast, Gaimin Gladiators just haven't been able to do the same. Laxing's going to continue taking this fight until he drops himself away on the hatch, but this one is going to be a big ask, a tall order for Gaimin Gladiators now.
A bit of a kicker, yeah, because they've lost 3 separate 1v1s here as well, and that was kind of my concern that we saw back against W7M in their last game. It's just at points it didn't really feel like they were playing as a team. And even when they did play as a team, the mobility that was being afforded to W7M just meant they were running riot all over the side of Gaimin Gladiators. You thought you cleared one part of the map? No, W7M retook it away from you. So here is the exact opposite, arguably, actually, where you're seeing it's more about the individual gunplay, and they're simply not winning their ones.
Told you, just trying to rotate around, trying to get anything going basically. Let's have a look in through the hatch, see if we can catch anybody in blue. Joe's going to head down there, so this looks like it's going to be the sort of thrust of the spear down through blue at this point in time. Told you going to just try and pressure an alternative angle in the same location, but he's likely to find himself cut down. He sees the man, you've got to react quicker than that. Newers manages to get himself a little bit of a freebie there, and that is now a 1 versus 5 for Joey's half health, and he's just hoping he can find something. There is a man behind there, but he's not going to take the shot. It's a little bit too late, and then the challenge continues to come in, but he's not going to be able to find the fight as Newers once again through the soft wall picks up the kill. Flawless round OXG, and we might just have the turnaround they need now that they're on defense.
Well, as you say, 3 big kills for Newers in the round 2. The sort of stuff you're looking to see. But for me, for Gaimin, it's about not getting picked off as you work your way around the map. And sure enough, I think they've also identified the same thing themselves here. A quick tactical timeout coming in to have that conversation of, come on, boys, we're better than this now. It feels weird to have that timeout after 1 round, but if the coach has seen enough, or if the boys have decided, no, it's time for a quick conversation, this is the time to have it.
Exactly that. Just try and turn things around, propel them. But the problem is now, I look at this and I think, you know, yes, the first half was good for Gaimin Gladiators, but that attack has just absolutely fallen apart. They've lost every single fight where they've tried to get inside of the map. They weren't able to clear the top floor, and that is a big difference compared to the rounds that OXG were losing. They were still going in and getting those clearances. They were, you know, it was a tough fight down on site, and Gaimin Gladiators were kind of able to hold on. But going into site 2 versus 5 against OXG, I don't think that's likely to really provide, you know, many dividends in terms of a return for Gaimin Gladiators, and so they need to be performing better in the early round in those roam clearances. OXG, for me, just keep doing the same as you've been doing. Get a few people out in the map, loosey-goosey, let them do what they want to do and take those gunfights.
Sure, let's see how they play things out on gym and bedroom. Pretty standard setup so far with the rotations coming in between sites, but going out to reinforce these ECC walls. In case you're curious as to why that is, it's because generally the attackers want to try and get control of the south balcony. To get control of the south balcony, you need control of CC out towards the right-hand side. So obviously the defenders want to try and control this window so they can shoot you if you are playing on that south balk, which means if you as defenders want to play in this area, you've got to be able to hold it down. It's very common these days to see teams play 2 or 3 players out here on an extended hold and then pull back when the heat gets a bit too high. Basically, take control of that balcony for as long as you can and see if you can really start the attack without on the clock.
Round number 8 gets underway then. We're going to have Azame sticking inside of construction more than likely. Keeper barricade's going to be positioned there, and that's going to allow Fox here to hold on for as long as possible. Vertical is over on the cache CCTV side. I think he may be alone at the minute. I'm not sure if there's a second man out with him there or not. We will undoubtedly see as the round continues. No, it's Fox here who's going to be in support, but otherwise Vertical on his own, actually dipping back. So they're quite happy at this point in OXG to actually give over cache and CCTV. A little bit of a problem there is that it allows Gaimin Gladiators access to more than that area of the map. As you can see nicely off to the left of your screen there, it gives them access to the whole run of windows alongside as well. They don't need to be scared about anybody challenging them from CCTV at that point. So I would expect to see Gaimin Gladiators getting somebody on those windows fairly soon to apply that pressure directly into sight. His Hoven looks like he's on his way. Not too much of a surprise.
Not at all, no. And here he is, and as well. He bounced through the window. I thought for a second he might get away with it. There was a magnet waiting though, so I think even if it had got through the window, Vert still wouldn't have died. So a good bit of utility cover there from OXG themselves. With the single wall now being opened up though, suddenly it becomes quite precarious to play inside of construction. And I like how it sort of slices the map in half here. If there were anyone still playing out towards the east side there on the extension, there'd be in a lot of bother because that Thermite has opened up that single wall. Now gives a wonderful cut the whole way through.
Nitro are going to go. All it's going to do is take out the mute jammer, and Hoven is going to step up and take out Newers. So not ideal utility usage there. 5 versus 4 now for Gaimin Gladiators, as access to those windows that I discussed does start to tell. OXG maybe a little bit of a mistake in giving up cache and CCTV quite so freely at the beginning of the round, because that is where that entry kill has come from. 1 minute 15 left to go. Tolji's going to join Hoven on the windows and just continue to double down on that position that they've been granted by OXG. We're going to have the jacuzzi wall getting opened as well. Pressure will mount on Dream here on the smoke as the soft wall is open to his side through into bathroom, so utility could potentially come in through there. There's likely magnets, etc., to stop that happening quite so freely, but the challenge is still possible.
Oh, the neighbour would have come through there at such a beautiful time as well, if not for the magnet catching it out.
Here comes Laxing.
Has ratted himself up the backside. Didn't see the lights on that drone here, and I don't think anyone on Gaimin Gladiators has clocked that he's coming.
I think he might be too late though, Des, as Hoven manages to get vertical. Laxing does get his first, but then they're away. Misses his shot, sorry to call it, but the spray was wild onto Joe. Hoven with the final kill, and Gaimin Gladiators with a much better attack there, but I can't help but feel OXG handed them a little bit of that by giving up that east side quite so easily.
I think to some level as well, even with the flank coming out of Laxing, if he gets the south window control, that wasn't really where the fighting was happening. It was the 3 players that were actually on site itself.
It was too late.
So even if you got the 2K still sat in a 1v3, I don't put too much pressure on him for missing that 1 kill, but it should have been a freebie coming in out of that window. Goes back to what we were saying at the start of the round about defenders want control of that window for that exact purpose. And now we'll see how things fare off on that side of the map as we go into Cash CC for our 3rd defensive round for Oxygen.
Just to put this into, context, I'm sure everybody at home is aware, but 2 more rounds and OXG will be eliminated from the Berlin Major.
Crazy, isn't it?
Will be going home. That will be it. Job done. They'll have 1 more game to play as a swan song at the end of the day against Wolves, but it will be meaningless by that point because they are 4 points behind at the minute and they need something here to mean that they can continue competing at the end of the day. It's going to be CCTV and Cash for them. I think it's the first time actually that we've seen this site defended today. We didn't see Gaimin Gladiators go there. It is one that has dropped off in popularity a little bit. I mean, it tells you how much it's dropped off in popularity when we've had 2-bar stock defences, 2-bar stage defences, sorry, but no CCTV Cash.
I think it's because it feels a bit direct to site 101, right? If you're trying to force a 2-man bedroom defense, often attackers will have to clear the entire east side of the map. When you're attacking in towards Cash CC, all you've got to do really is get the east breach opened up, then pick your poison. Do you want to attack in through construction, or do you want to get garage? You only need 2, compass directions, dare I call them, for you to make an attack work. So at least at this point here, they're going to start getting this wall opened up on the right-hand side. That's your 1 direction done. Then where they choose to work on next will be the big one, but what you've got is told you watching on towards the west window, so no one can try and play too cheeky around that spot as well.
Foxtail looking to potentially use the Maverick calls against them should they go for that hard breach, which Rix is now working towards. He's going to try and impact nade underneath. It looks like 1 has already gone off there. So there's plenty more to go at, so that's not the end of the world. They're going to lose that first one. No, it doesn't. Oh, so close. The first one doesn't catch it, but the second one does. But as you say, Des, they are out, so this breach gets opened up. Interesting bandit placement as well. We don't see it too often, but a bandit just placed on the catwalk wall as well. Quite often we'll get thrown hard breach coming in from the ace to open that up. So that's been done to prevent the Selma charge, making it difficult for Foxy. It's not a 200 IQ play, but it's just not something that we see done very often, but I like that from OXG.
I've seen a couple of teams like electrify every single wall down there before, and it's always felt a bit excessive. I can think of the days with like Kite Electro Claws, where you put them on catwalk itself above the 2 walls in the middle, and it will electrify them from above, meaning the defenders can't get in comfortably without first clearing you away from the catwalk itself. Of course, then they'll bring nade to try and get rid of the operator and the 2 Electro Claws. Then you've got the battle of magnets coming along. Oh, you must be joking.
That's not ideal.
Unfortunate, Hoven, I guess.
Nade's going to be raining into sight from RP here, just looking to clear off the electricity, I think, from behind that wall, but he missed, and that is going to mean that it remains close for the time being. He can try the Gon 6, he's thinking about it, but I don't think the radius is actually going to be sufficient, RP. If you want to do that, you need to head underneath, and you need to take the shot from down there. That will clear the bandit battery out, but instead, Joe's going to head in that direction. He'll throw the nade up. It's pretty default nade from stock door, straight underneath that wall, clear out the bandit battery. Thank you very much, and that will be the wall getting open, but only 30 seconds left to go.
That's my nervousness. It's taken like 15-20 seconds for him to rotate away into their already last 60 seconds. They can get the wall open up. They're not even bothered at this point. They're just walking in. Look, it's a little bit late, but they're on their march through. Rix is in, looking to go for a plant here against the soft wall as Dream steps out, finds 1, but can he see the man himself? They're not quite sure where he's planting here. Ape's got a hold on. 1 more goes down. Plant is here, and Rix gets blasted to high heavens. It's 4 left alive for the side of OXG. They'll get this disable and find their first defensive round.
Better from OXG there. Good work to just really make it difficult for Gaimin Gladiators to get access into site. Leave Rix with no option other than to just dive on in and throw the diffuser down wherever he finds himself stood. So well played from them, and that just gives them an opportunity to keep fighting their way back into this one. 4-5 still behind. Basically, they need to be winning this without any further mistakes. As I've said, they're looking for a full 3 points here. I won't get into the specifics, but there are still opportunities if they get an overtime win, for example. It is still possible. It puts them within range of Wolves. It just then depends on the W7M result in that way to match up. But OXG, they don't want to be worrying about that. They just want to do everything they can here and now to get themselves as close as they can, put that pressure on Wolves, as I said earlier. Church and Arsenal is going to be the next site for them, and they basically need, for me, 2 back-to-back here. They need to get themselves the 6-5, and then they can hopefully just push on for that final little bit.
Just say every point counts at this point, and that means every single round itself contributes in as well. Laxing back up on the top floor, we did see I don't say a super heavy, but quite a relatively decent roam presence from OXG on their last defense of this site. But this time around reinforcing off the east side walls. Normally on this 3-floor roam, you'll have those east 2 walls reinforced. You'll have the 2 jacuzzi walls reinforced. Let's imagine where Vert might be heading off to now, since they've got 2 still left in back pocket. Everything else will be focused on site itself, with hatches being opened up, which is kind of where you take the reinforcements from. Maybe here is realised, actually, even though we've got the 2 reinforcements left, we haven't got time to be reinforcing walls. If you're still reinforcing walls 10-15 seconds into the round, someone is absolutely blasting you sky high.
Vertical, look how aggressive he is here. We've seen this once or twice before where the breach gets opened up and the defenders are just there right in front of it waiting to make the challenge. He's maybe lucky that Rix wasn't paying attention, but he's going to find Ape, and that is exactly the start that OXG wanted here. Vertical really powering them forward, having a good game so far. 6-3 right now, and with another important entry.
Joe just silently working his way in through dirt here. Now, last time Vert was the one who was dancing around. If you recall, he charged inside of Kitchen, got himself a freebie in the hallway, then back outside, back on drones before eventually working his way in through dirt. This time around, they sent Joe to go and do that, maybe because the walls have been reinforced up. But he'll be in a pretty key location there where he can give some good information over to the rest of his team when he comes pushing through. But it's about timing that up with the rest of the boys as well.
The keeper barricade just filling the gap on the hatch there, making it a little bit safer to stay inside of blue, covering everything that was needed. Laxing roaming around this top floor, and we saw the damage that Laxing was able to do from up there last time. He will likely have the bailiff in hand, I would have thought. That is certainly not ideal. Losing 2 Selmas leaves them without the ability to get the hatch open with those. They're going to have to bring in alternative utility, the Hibana or the Maverick. They've got plenty to go at, but it just leaves them in a more dangerous spot. And let's not forget, Laxing up on the top floor. If he's got the bailiff in hand and could get himself into logistics, he could potentially open up holes and rain down fire from above.
All these little things, just like the time wasting with the impact tricks onto the Selmas, it just runs that clock further and further down. So Gaimin Gladiators get more pressure building on them, less room for errors, more pace that you have to add to your attack, more urgency, dare I say. Laxing, I think he's just waiting and expecting Joe to come back out of playing through dirt.
No!
The timing is ludicrous.
Laxing, that's disgusting. The alibi decoy has been there for the entire round, so the likelihood is that Gaimin Gladiators have seen that and thought, yeah, it's not too much of a threat, it's just a decoy on that window, absolutely fine. I'm not sure I've seen that in pro play before, where the alibi goes and stands on top of the decoy and gets a kill. Beautiful.
And here comes Fox to find one back, but it's 2 coming back the other way for Gaimin Gladiators, down to 1 man left alive, but Hoven from above at least brings 1 back on the other side. I don't know if he gets Joe here in time. He's kind of sat very precariously inside of site. 1 gets finished off, doesn't know about the man inside of Moto. OXG get that round to bring things square.
OXG really seeming to sharpen up in the last couple of rounds. Gaimin Gladiators, I don't know where the top floor clearance was from them. There was just no real attempt to deal with Laxing at all. He was completely free for the round. They tried to just push in and just get the hatches and push directly towards site, and it just really didn't pay off for them. OXG taking full advantage of that, and a cheeky little play that, sometimes those things will just give you everything you need. Laxing, nice kill onto Rix, but that leaves us now 5-5 on the scoreboard. OXG getting themselves moving. 2 more rounds to go, and they keep on fighting here in Berlin.
I think with the whole Rix thing then as well, it's just a real smart amount of game knowledge. I mean, Lax has played this game forever, since the Xbox days. He knows that when that Hibana's open up that kitchen hatch, she's likely going to rotate off towards dirt. And even if you can't guarantee it, she might be trying to drop the hatch with the plant, for example, there's always the off chance that they will go towards dirt. So it's just a smart read, situational awareness coming out from Laxin that netted them a freebie. 0 complaints on that side, and then wasted even more time because they were charging around trying to catch him, throw a nade at him, for example. I spoke about it about the 2-minute mark, but it is just running down every single second to the point that Gaimin Gladiators have to panic in terms of their final push.
Absolutely that. And the decoy was just a nice little cherry on top, essentially. You know, Rix may not have checked that window anyway. Laxin, you know, may have got away with that, but there is a good chance there that it's been seen earlier in the round, so I don't need to check it because that's in the way. We know that it's not being peaked, but it was. Round number 11 then, it is 5-5 on the scoreboard. Gaimin Gladiators, I've got to say, you know, we know that they've just been eliminated in the last round, but I tell you what, they've not given anybody an easy game, have they? There's been no easy points at the hands of Gaimin Gladiators.
There's been constant challenge, I think, is the best part. I mean, I spoke about it, how they haven't really had any big wins, but they haven't had any wins at all, but they took Wolves to overtime twice. They've really made the European team sweat to get to where they are right now, and that place where they are right now, it's under threat from OXG if they can win this game. Newest thinking he had time there to get himself towards Jim, but realising, nope, that's opening up pretty damn rapid. So instead it's Laxing sat in here alone with Newest holding down inside of Logi.
Newest last time lost his life inside of Jim when the challenge came in from the window. This time interesting to see slightly harder hold of Cash and CCTV. Foxy still over there, being supported by Vertical as well. Joe taking the long angle there, nearly actually getting himself a kill into Jamie. Wouldn't have known that, but the angle was there nonetheless. But yeah, this time OXG, I think, learning the lesson from the last round. They don't want to give up those windows quite so easily, so they are making Gaimin Gladiators work for this a little bit more, making them go in and take control before they dip themselves away. They've still got Laxing and Foxy over on that side, and that is much better from them. Vertical gonna lose his life to a vertical nade though.
Ironic.
I was gonna make a joke about Astralis then.
Why?
Because Iconic plays for Astralis. I couldn't think of the link.
I also don't understand where Astralis come into this.
Well, just on the ironic, I was going to say no, he plays for Astralis.
Right, yeah, that was terrible. Told you then finds a second in the round, but it's a bit of a stretch. Nua's going down here as well, which means for Gaimin, maybe they can pull ahead to 6 and 5, which will be that sort of spot that we spoke about earlier. OXG are desperate to avoid dropping any points here. Otherwise, that game against Wolves later, it needs to become a regulation win, if they even get anywhere near that. But Hoven cementing this round for Gaimin Gladiators as they get into a 5 versus 2. Laxin finds 1, finds 2, they found 3, almost gets a third, but Tolji shuts him down before the madman can find one more. It's Foxy to clutch up against 2.
Diffuser going down here. Tolji's going to try and stick this. Foxy needs to win this fight. It's as simple as that. He does win the first. Can he win the second? This would be a huge 1v2 for OXG. Tolji is out of there. If Foxy is quick here, he might just be able to stick this. Tolji's getting himself up on the rappel, but no, Foxy, he's going to come away and he's going to look for the challenge here, but this is not going to be easy. Tolji climbs up on and manages to get the kill, and that could be a real hammer blow to the hopes of NA for OXG to make it through to the playoffs. It's not impossible, but it just got a lot more difficult.
Well, to give you context now, the most Oxygen can get is 2 points from this game, which would put them on 5. Wolves are sat on 7. When they play later, assuming Wolves lose in regulation to W7M in their next game of the day, it will come down to Oxygen needing to win in regulation. They get to overtime at all, and it's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to see Wolves being the ones walking through. And that's assuming, of course, that we don't see Gaming go on to win this game now. If they do that, there is still a chance they can still tie things up at 7 points each, but it's a real
You're then
stretch.
relying on Wolves not getting anything against W7M.
Exactly.
W7M are already 5-0 up. You know, they're not going to be coming out and showing absolutely everything on the map they play. They're going to be focused on the playoffs. You know, whereas Wolves are going to be fighting tooth and nail every inch to try and get a point out of it. So it starts getting very, very dicey now for OXG. Like you say, this is the moment. You got to win this. There's no two ways about it. You got to win this, and you got to win 2 of the next 3. They need 2 points out of this.
Now or never, boys. Now or never. It's going to be a cash CC defense as well. One that's the only one they found success on, at least in the first few rounds in the third quarter of the game. And a lot of that came down to Rick still being on site and getting the plant down. It just sort of fell apart from there, as it was a bit of a hastened together attack by Gaimin Gladiators. They were held outside of construction for the longest time and eventually forced their way through smoke, through barbed wire, charging in towards site, and that's a wonderful start. The sledge going down, Nuas finding a cheeky kill on the outside.
Big opener there, exactly what OXG needed. They just did not really done that well playing from behind when they've had the man disadvantage. They haven't come out on top of most of those situations. Foxy was very close last time around in the 1v2, but it was just too much to ask for that last gunfight. He was low health and obviously difficult. Rick's trying again. He's going to be getting the wall open. It sounds like they've managed to get 1 exothermic. have they got any more impact nades left? They've got one more. They could well get this second one. He needs to be very cautious with his placement. He puts it right out to the side. Will that be sufficient? Noyers sends it out. Yes, it will be sufficient to get the exothermic charge. Gone. Nade from underneath from RP. Not going to do any damage, really. Dream taking a tickle, I think. But other than that, it is going to be still OXG 5-4. And they are looking to hold on. Still half of the round to go. And pressure mountain inside of sight.
It's 2 rounds in a row now where OXG, well, not back-to-back, but on this site where they've had 4 impacts in their back pocket, and they haven't managed to keep that wall closed despite being given a golden chance by Joe to keep on tricking the wall out. It's balmy, to be honest with you, and even Nuez then had so much time to line up that impact nade, but just couldn't get it outside to destroy the exothermic. Unfortunate, but now this means there's a massive advantage for Gaimin Gladiators. They've got to get this one blast wall opened up, and then the real attack can begin.
Big as that kill comes in to level things up at 4-4. Vertical being taken down on the Azami, which of course means no replacement of those keeper barricades either. Laxing's underneath, does not have Nitro in hand. Interesting to note that he's taken barbed wire as the choice, so he's not going to be able to impact on a plant that goes down from underneath other than spraying through the floor, but he is going to look for a flank here. He's going to need to get moving. 54 seconds left to go. He needs to get all the way up main stairs and through master bedroom and hope that Gaimin Gladiator have been sloppy on that flank watch once again, as they have done previously. There is a Claymore there, but what a one-tap from Laxing. Sit down, Rix!
At this point, though, they can still keep going because they found a couple of kills back as well. However, Foxer starts to net things up. Only 2 remaining. It's exactly the same as last time, but there were 4 available for the boys of OXG. They find 1, they find 2. There's no way they end the hopes like this as well. Told you going in for the plant and Laxing. It all comes down to him. He's got to go big here. Finds 1. Can he find the last? It's out to the right. It's out to the left. He can't find the man. Yes, he can. Laxing keeps it going, and we're going through to overtime.
What have I just seen? Laxing able to flip to the pistol and really rescue OXG's hopes in those final seconds. A true ring around the roses,
Ludicrous.
back and forward around the servers, but he comes away with the only shot that matters, and that is a shot in the arm of OXG, hopefully of adrenaline to pep them up and get them back into this fight in overtime.
Absolutely ludicrous that he's pulled that off. I thought for sure once they had control of site and ignored Laxing back on main stairs, they'd be able to get the plant down and play the 2v1 post, but no. Laxing somehow pulls it out the bag and keeps Oxygen's dreams alive. Gym and bedroom, where Gaimin Gladiators are going to start off on their defensive side of overtime. They get 2 defenses. 1 here in round 13, 1 in round 15, with Oxygen having round 14 to take their defense as well. I love this cheeky frost map, by the way. The one that's down here just inside of Logi. Someone drops it through that hatch later on in the round. It gets somewhat concealed by the debris that drops in from the hatch itself. And if someone then drops in without droning properly, they're dead.
It's not an easy one to clear out as well.
It's
you can get the angle from above the hatch, but like you say, that debris just covers it up. You've got, if nades are going in, they're going deeper than that, and it can be one that's easily missed because of the fear of playing around the hatch and the potential for things like nitros coming up out of there. None on the side of the defenders. No, 1 down at the bottom. Torgy's got 1, so yeah, it's something that they definitely need to be cautious of. OXG 5 versus 5 then, as we head into our first round of overtime, round 13, and a round that OXG desperately need. We've had 3-3 in both halves, so or was it 4-2? Sorry, no, it's been 4-2 in both halves. So the advantage, you'd have to say, sitting with the defenders a little bit here, and Gaimin Gladiator is able to snag that all-important first defense.
There's been some really interesting clutch rounds coming out there. Think about, for example, Dreams 1v1 in the basement. Laxing in that last round as well. Although the scoreline suggests, yep, defenders, you can be pretty safe in the bets that they will win it. You can't guarantee anything. Ape being deleted by the Finca LNG that we all love so much.
Just able to continue pre-firing around the corner there, manages to get the kill Newers and sets his team up fantastically. Rick's going to take a lot of damage as well, and OXG very quickly find themselves effectively in a 5 versus 3 almost here, as Rick's is seriously low health and not in a position to be taking any gunfights. He's going to have to play very, very passively as the round goes on, but other players throughout this tournament have shown us what is possible when on low health. Now then, Rick's, he's going to do a lot of damage there to Dream. That's the hard breach as well. They definitely need to make sure that is not lost before Dream's job is done. We're going to get a little Finca boost coming in. Dream will have the opportunity now to use those Selmas just to open up the rest of that wall, and from here on in, OXG, they just need to start finding kills.
Just find kills.
Just find some kills.
Just find some kills. It's easy. 1, 2, 3. Click on the head. Lol. Whatever. 5v4 though. Last 60 seconds we're getting into at this stage, and there's still a bit of focus out towards the east here. I don't think anyone from Gaimin Gladiators is trying a late flank this time around. The 4 that remain are all playing around site. Rick's just about holding on by a thread with 2 HP to his name. Foxy got a nice cheeky angle through under the barricade here as well. As soon as Rick steps up from there, he's dead.
You would expect so. Hoven, he's holding an important angle here, just shutting down the gym window so nobody can push in through there, and then also just trying to keep an angle out towards bathroom and gym itself. Foxy just taking the shots through the wall. That's going to signal to Hoven maybe that there's an opportunity for him to push in. Dead. First nade is going to go, second nade goes elsewhere, and here comes the push. We saw this exact same from Vertical last time. Hoven, he's going to take a little bit of damage from the nade, but not enough. Foxy manages to find the rest though with a headshot, taking him down. 5 versus 3, Rick still low health, could be an important position, but no, easily shut down by a Dream. Nitro goes out, going to have to be successful. It is not. It's a 1 versus 5. Dream's getting the diffuser down. 2 kills for Tolji, but surely that's all. Yes, Foxy in the right position, shuts it down, and the Dream is still alive for OXG.
Quite literally, yeah, well on their way towards those 2 points. The lion's share from this game. They'll be 2 behind Wolves in their matchup later, assuming Wolves don't beat W7M, so they still have the opportunity. Here, they'll get to see what Ape and Co can do on the attacking side. Oxygen moving over onto the defense down into Church and Arsenal. Now, we've seen them play really heavy on the roam so far when defending this site, and their lineup suggests exactly that. Mute and Mozzie very good for blocking away the information on the top floor. Latsingers love roaming around on the Alibi, and you've also got that Malusi. So much to work with here.
Gaimin Gladiators have to pay more attention to that top floor here. There's absolutely no two ways about it. They haven't gone up there. They completely just overlooked it last time, and they paid the price for doing so. So super important that they get that done and make sure, as you say, Laxing particularly, that they're clearing out. It looks like we've got a bit of a rehost coming in. So we'll get that done. Not ideal timing probably for OXG. They would have wanted to just carry on with that momentum that they'd got, but we are where we are, and we'll get back in as soon as we can.
It is what it is. Just a small bug there for us to get over, and then we can get back into the game. We always love it when our last day of groups is nice and spicy. And this
I can't get enough of it.
This is the group that's shaping up to be quite spicy, because a lot of the other ones have already kind of settled now. You know,
yeah, pretty much.
But
I think we've got, what have we got, 4 teams now? I think
we're at 4.
We've got W7M, we've got Elevate, we've got FaZe, and we've got, I want to say, there's somebody else. I'm forgetting somebody. It's very difficult when we're trying to keep on top of 16 teams across 4 groups.
So who did you have? Sorry,
W7M, Elevate, FaZe.
Who went through from Group A?
Nobody yet.
Nobody yet. So we've got 3. Xset, sorry.
Xset, yes. Yeah. Xset confirmed from here, yes. So, yeah, those are the 4 that we've got. So we've got, we've got like half of the games. This is game 4 out of 8 today. So we've got half of the games left to go. And we've still got in that final half a day. So we've got 3 days. It's a 1/6 of the games overall. And we've got half of the teams yet to qualify.
We've got 3, sorry. We've got 5 that are qualified. Furia and Elevate.
Oh, Furia, of course, yes.
From the same group.
Yes,
yeah.
Furia,
so
of course.
Group D is already locked up, essentially. But Group C, Group B, Group A...
all to play for.
Still all to play for in
all
those
to play
spots. For. Admittedly, Group B is maybe not as close as it might look. Sandbox versus G2, for example. Sandbox, interestingly, did beat Sonics 8 and 6. And G2 and Sandbox are currently playing right now. I think what I'll tell you now will be slightly delayed. But it's currently 4-2 to G2, where they're playing on Theme Park. I believe G2 would have been on the defensive side. Yep, they were. So if G2 win that game, that group is then done. No
guarantees there. If Sandbox are moving on to the defensive Theme Park, they could certainly fight their way back into that.
The thing is for Sandbox, it's their last game. That's the spot they're in now. They have to get enough points here to jump over G2, which means winning in regulation and seeing G2 get stomped by FaZe later.
All I will say is there's a lot of shouting going on.
There is.
I've just heard a lot of shouting over the way. We're also back into the game, Des. We've done a little catch-up, a little round-up of the tournament as it stands at the minute there, and it's past the time nicely for us to get back into things. It's going to be a Church and Arsenal defence. I'm not, I'm certainly not a biased caster. What I am going to say is that I would like OXG to pick the win up here.
It keeps it entertaining later.
Simply because it just puts the pressure on Wolves, and like you say, it just takes us right up to the end of the day. As much as I would like to see Gaimin Gladiator for the performances and entertainment that they've given us, I would like to see them get a win here and not go away sort of completely empty-handed from Berlin, but ultimately it doesn't really impact too much on that possibility of the sort of last-minute excitement later on in the day. So for me, OXG, get it locked up here. Get yourselves, you know, those 2 points. Keep fighting. It puts them then, onto 6 points? No, they're on 3. So it puts them on to 5 points, and it leaves them just 2 behind, and it gives them a little bit more wiggle room depending if Wolves get themselves to overtime against W7M, for example. So, OXG, the time is now.
And we'll see if this time can be done in the next 2 minutes 30. They close it up either 8 and 6, or they take it all the way through to 15 to see how this epic tale concludes for them and their journey here at Berlin. Over starting things off, and the rest of the boys, of course, out towards kitchen side of things. 3 of them currently squared up on this side of the map. Imagine you'll see 1 or 2 rotate away, 1 try and push their way in through the basement, or in through dirt, I suppose I should say. Just keep a very close eye, of course, on that window. Yep, Hoven knows to check that one out after Ritz got blasted by Laxin from there last time. But this time around, it has been left fully closed. Laxin choosing to employ a different idea and use case for that alibi, rather than copying the same as last time around.
Drone not going to be spotted out, not going to be taken out of dirt. That could be a bit of a miss there, as Newer's position is going to be known and the challenge can come in from dirt tunnel, although we just see Hoven just scurrying away there, going to get back onto the drone himself, not wanting to be too aggressive here at the halfway mark. And once again, just a little bit concerning here that Gaimin Gladiators have not dealt with the roamers around the map. I picked up on it last time and it cost them last time. It will do the same if they don't clear them out.
It's about the drone work coming through, right? We're down to half of those at the halfway mark in the round. Perfect consumption so far, it feels like. Down to even 4. They will start to get starved with that information as we go down to now even 3. Foxay starting out on the opener as well. A dream start for Oxygen so far.
Exactly as I said, not dealing with Foxy has lost them, the man, and it's the Hibana. It doesn't get much better than that for opening picks. Foxy will have been quite happy to trade his life for that, but Vertical gives his up for nothing. RP managing to find the headshot. Dream looking to take the challenge, but no, he's been pinched from both sides. Joe works that absolutely beautifully. Drives deep into sight after it. Laxin could be the hero once again as he manages to get a kill along with Neuers. They manage to bring themselves back into it here. Neuers is just trying to hold off dirt tunnel, but they know, Des, they know that's where the remainders are, so now they can just focus in that one direction. Toji gets one, Hoven the other. Neuers and Laxin can do nothing, and we're going all the way
to 15.
We are.
Normally you'd say that, you didn't finish.
I know, we're not in the playoffs, I've got to save something.
I guess so. It's one of those now where, for Oxygen, this is a real high-pressure round. You've got to do something on the attacking side. We've seen both teams pick up their attacking round so far. A total flip to what we've seen being the main storyline throughout regulation. Church and Arsenal, where Gaimin are going to set themselves up. What chaos can they cause downstairs here? What damage can they do out on the roam to shut Oxygen down early? In the early parts of the game, back in regulation, we said it as much then, they are really making Oxygen work for everything. They force a lot of 1v1s around the map, for example, and it would just starve the clock downwards as they get more and more distracted, hit by flanks. You remember Hoven, for example, on the Legion, coming up through Oil Ladder. Just little things like that all start to stack together, and I have no doubt Gaimin are going to go hell for leather here in this last round.
Oh, they want the win. You know, they don't want to be going back to Apex South empty-handed. As I said, they've worked extremely hard here. They've run, as we've said, teams so close. You know, W7M 7-5, Wolves, they took them to overtime both times. Overtime now against OXG. They don't want to go back empty-handed. They want some bragging rights. They want to say that they, you know, came to Berlin and at least came away with some positive points by getting a win. This is their opportunity. It's 7-7. It's the last round. You know, winner takes not all at this point, but the winner takes 2 points, loser takes 1, and that for OXG is pretty catastrophic in terms of the event, you know, as a whole. It's going to make it extremely difficult then for them to go through. So they're going to start working on the east side to begin with. They take out the Mute Jammer, the Selma will open, and they're looking for that top floor clearance. We've seen OXG do this top floor clearance so well so far, Des, getting at least 1 or 2 kills both times.
Oh boy.
What's going on here, Des?
Direct to site, 101. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. The boys want to collect much more than that. They want their 2 points, Tim. If they can get in the backside here as well before Gaimin have any idea it's coming, this could be catastrophic. They've got Valkyrie cams set up, but I don't think they'll have one down, for example, inside of dirt to catch this. Laxin looking to move his way down main stairs. They could just coalesce on site here and say, forget about those on the roam. We just want to go for the win here and now.
They need to use the I'd have thought they'd be using the Gon 6 on this
Oh,
barricade.
no.
So they've given up. They've given up. They've seen something they don't like. To be fair, there's a Banshee and there is one of the Thorn Razor Blooms on the back of that door as well. It is, even if you use the Gon 6, which is the point I was coming to, don't hit the barricade. It'll tell the defenders you come in. Just Gon 6 straight through it, you know, and try and get in there and get those couple of surprise kills. Even if they do that, the Banshee, the Razor Bloom, everything else is just going to make it too difficult to go in with the aggression that they needed. So I think that was the right decision, to be honest, from OXG there, to just back themselves off. And it may be that they don't know about Nua's in there now, because the barricade's been shot out from Hatch. They may well presume that that's all it is. There you go. They had no idea. No idea. Well played, OXG.
A good bait, but maybe not quite the respect being shown by Gaimin there to the fact that someone could have been left behind. You've heard it being shot out, for example. You know the jammer was gone. You've maybe seen a drone coming through from that direction as well. You should have the read that someone wants to follow through on that as well. Foxay creeping his way down. He's got Joe off towards his left and a man straight through across towards Moto as well. It looks to be a kitchen and blue push. Nuas is already inside though.
Nuas is down though. Foxay manages to find himself dead as well as he drops down through the hatch. Gaimin Gladiators have collapsed here, Des. It's Rix. It's Joe finding kills as they do, and it's all up to Laxing. 2 goo mines in his leg that he's going to have to take out, but he backs up into the Thorn contraption. Up here with the final kill, and Gaimin Gladiators will go away with a win to their name.
And that leaves all the work for Oxygen to do. They have to get a regulation win against Wolves, assume that Wolves get nothing against W7M, and they have to beat them in round if. I haven't even checked to see if that's mathematically possible, but that just shows how tall an order it is. But for Gaimin Gladiators, I'm so happy they found themselves a win at their first major.
It's been brilliant to see. Like I say, out of all of our teams that have gone home at this point, for me, Gaimin Gladiators have been a little bit of a, you know, a revelation.
Massively so. We'll go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a lot to say about this game.
Paris, Mexico, Stockholm. I have so many memories. I had a front row seat to see Goga qualify G2 Esports for the final after an unbelievable performance.
On the best team in the world.
I was there in Tokoname, where Nello won a legendary round all by himself.
In the midst of a crossfire, gets one on the Diesel and a second one on Amaranth. Oh my God! Are you kidding me? The 1v4!
I was standing in that madding crowd at Montreal, stunned by the triumph of Space Station Gaming.
But it's home once again!
I was thrilled when Ninjas in Pajamas got its revenge in Paris.
Not bad.
Alamau in a 1v3 here. He makes the swing, he finds the headshot, and not just one.
I witnessed LMAO's demonstration in Mexico when he led Team 1 to a consecration against all odds. I was fortunate to see Damwon Kia making history in front of me in Yable.
First Korean team who are progressing to the semi-finals.
But did I tell you I even saw as a nobody TSM FTX became the new world champions in Stockholm?
They have a rematch with the
Pajamas! The first
This is it. This is my major story. And as an official hardware partner of Rainbow Six Esports, I feel blessed to witness them for such a long time.
Gaimin Gladiators handing Oxygen a defeat they sorely did not need in their battle to still stay in the playoffs conversation. 3 points now needed by the North American side against Wolves later to still be in with a chance. And even then, Tim, it's not guaranteed.
It's only a chance, and that depends on Wolves not taking anything from W7M. So many moving parts have just come into play for OXG when at the beginning of this game it was really simple. 3 points in regulation and you should have a chance in that last match. Now, not so certain.
We've got a match summary to take a look at as well, so you guys can see what went down in that game. I know we had a couple of rehosts, so you can see the total standings once we come on to that in just a moment as well. But for me, for Gaimin Gladiators, if nothing else, as you said, I'm just happy they've walked away with a win, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I said, they were a little bit of a revelation at this tournament. They've come in, they've made life so difficult for everybody. We've had some fantastic performances. Ape a standout there, you know, but we've said that a couple of times across the time, and just really, really good from Gaimin Gladiators. You know, I think we'll see them back at future events as well, and this win is going to give them the appetite for that.
Obviously, that was the prior game. Just went so well. We were that keen to show you guys it anyway. But again, here is how things sit. Gaimin Gladiators, at least for now, jumping ahead of Oxygen. And I want to say one thing as well. Laxton said to me before the game, obviously it still matters how we do in this game big time because, one, we have a chance to get through, but two, even if we don't, there are SI points on the line. I believe you get 50 points if you finish fourth, 105 if you finish third. Double the points for finishing one place higher in groups. So literally every game, every round does count. And Oxygen, no more than any others, will be more than aware than that of ever than they were before. So they've got to get something out of that game later, even an overtime win. But like I said, for me, they've got to now get from -10 to over +2. So Wolves need to get slammed in the next game, and Oxygen need to beat Wolves really convincingly in that following game. I'm talking like 7-2, 7-1 in both games, and I don't see that happening.
Well, this is the beauty of the year-long system that we've got, like you say. You know, you look at it, and a failure to qualify for SI could ultimately come down to looking back and thinking there was one game there where we didn't pick up enough points, didn't find third place, and we haven't made... Like, that's the beauty. It keeps so much meaning on every single game. Whether you're already out, whether you're already through, it doesn't matter. You need as many points as possible.
And still in this group, like we mentioned, there are a couple more games still to come. We've got Wolves playing off against W7M next, before Wolves play OXG in the very last game of the day. The very last game of the group stage, Tim. It's gone lightning quick over the last 3 days.
I mean, it always does, doesn't it? You know, we wake up on day one, super excited, ready to go, and then it just rattles by so quickly. We're watching match after match on both streams, keeping on top of everything and what's going on, and then, blink of an eye, we find ourselves towards the end of day 3, and here we are.
And here's the actual scoreboard you were looking for earlier on as well. So really, I got to give it to Hoven. He was an absolute monster out on the roam as well, just constantly coming off on the flanks, giving a real upset stomach over towards OXG. And on their side, Laxim, we spoke about it. There were some rumours circling about whether or not he'll stay on this team after this major. He wanted to make sure he put up a big performance. A couple of clutch rounds, 15 and 10 overall as well. A real solid performance from a veteran of the game.
29 kills between him and Foxy, really stepping up for the team. But just the thing is, it was such a close game. You know, we can't even really point to either side and say, well, you know, maybe that player cost a bit, that player cost. They just didn't. Everybody played their parts in what was, to be honest, a great game of Siege. Really enjoyed watching that one.
I did as well, and I'm sure we'll see some more entertaining games as the day progresses. As mentioned, you can still see OXG play in the last game of the day, but for Gaimin Gladiators, that does end their run at the major. That was their very last game. And again, for a team that's had their first time at a major, I've enjoyed seeing them smiling all around the venue, for example. They barely ever looked downtrodden despite getting, you know, up to this point, trounced. They didn't have a win, for example. They lost in overtime twice. That's not super fun, let's be real.
No, not at all. They've been a great team to have around. You're absolutely right. Like you say, a pleasure to be around, and hopefully we'll see them back in future events as well.
Absolutely. Well, we've got 2 more games to go before we get back into this group and see the epic conclusion of this tale between OXG and Wolves. For now, we'll go to a quick break. The other casters will step in, give you a little bit of fun, and we'll catch up with you guys again later on today.